BRUCAST is back, baby.
It is an interesting, but something I promised you before that you asked me about anti-gravitational
Oh yeah.
things. So this is an interesting story. When I was living in Florida, in the United States, I was commuting between two towns, Sarasota and Bradenton, and on the Highway 301, between the two towns, there was a piece that was completely empty. Probably with the development that has been lately, now is totally built, but at the time it was really a bit of countryside. But there was a moment in this highway where I was feeling fantastic, so that I started slowing down to go slow in this place where I was feeling well, until I stopped moving with the car on the side of the road because I was feeling really good to be there. And I started checking the coordinate location of this place, what there is in this place, that why. And I came out to discover that in the grid of vertical and horizontal energy that there is in the planet, like this flux of energy that there was a knot. It was the place where the two parts were colliding like this, right? And during this research, it comes out that there is in most of the things, pyramids, the Stone Age, a lot of other things are exactly in the points where the 2 points collide. And in Florida, there was a place called Coral Castle, also built in a place. Yes, search it because it's fantastic. So it was not far from Miami, and I went to visit it. And there was an interesting aspect. No, it's not this. Search Coral Castle, Florida. Not coral, like the coral of the sea. Exactly. And yeah, correct, this one.
Wow.
And this is connected to a lot of strange story of energies and other things. When I went to visit the place, the tour guide looked at the group that we were there and says, "Are you here because you're interested in the history or you're interested in the energy aspect of things?" And everybody was there interested in the energy aspect of things. So he started making a demo, and I promise, if he didn't choose me to do this example, this demonstration, I wouldn't believe it was true. In fact, I'm sure all the other people in the group thought I was an accomplice of the guy. So he asked me to put my hand like this, straight in front of me, okay, like holding hard. And he asked me to resist, and he pushed them down with his hand. Obviously, those are not muscles that you use much in your body. So, making some effort, he had to push, but he pushed them down. Then he went, there was a triangular big piece of rock that was on rotating on top of a pin sort of it, and he pointed the points toward me, and then says, "Now resist again." And I promise you, I didn't do much effort. The guy pulled up his leg from the ground, and he was holding on my hands, and I was like, how can this be possible? Then he pointed the triangle in the opposite direction. He came there and fast resist now, and with a single finger he pushed my hands down like I had zero power, zero energy. Comes out the story of this Coral Castle is very strange. It was this Russian guy that is being left at the altar from his promised wife. There was a 16-year-old girl. And to prove that he was worth it, he went from Russia to Florida, beginning of the past century, and he started building this Coral Castle by himself. He was cutting block of coral from the ground because Florida, is sea level and is, coral if you move a little bit of sand. But those things were weighing tons and tons, and by himself, all alone, and he was 1.50 m tall, this guy. He was moving this coral around to build the construction that you saw before in the picture of the Coral Castle. And nobody knew how he was doing it. And at a certain point, he wanted to move to a better location, and he called somebody with a truck in order to load the block of coral and bring them there. And the guy left the truck there to be loaded. He left and he realized he forgot his wallet in the truck. He came back 20 minutes later, the truck was already loaded. And he was like, how is nobody there. There are no cranes. Like how did he do this? Eventually, this man died, and they found a notation written like Leonardo, like you read in the mirror, in a code that nobody decoded yet. And there were some belt in leather attached to a strange machine, and comes out that practically putting this belt around pieces of coral, they inverted the gravitational things against the ground, so these things were sort of floating or being very, very light to move, that a single person can move them around. This is the story. It's true or not, I don't know, but it's the closest I arrived to something like this. If you think this is beginning of 1900, as maybe the correct years must be written in the Wikipedia page, I don't remember correctly. I mean, there was electricity at the time, and there were trucks at the time, so it is 1887, 1951. Okay, so it is begin.
So Coral Castle on promotion material says Edward Leedskallen was 26 years old when he was suddenly rejected. One sec, let me share my screen. When he was suddenly rejected by his 16-year-old fiancée Agnes Skuvst in Latvia, just one day before the wedding. Leaving for the United States, he came down with allegedly terminal tuberculosis, but spontaneously healed, stating that magnets had some effect on his disease. Whoa. Okay. Okay, so the Wikipedia go into really an extent length to explain the whole story.
Yeah, it is a very fascinating and interesting story that remain a mystery as of today, like the pyramid and other places where huge blocks has been moved, and they all happen to be in these coordinated places, so there must be some connection between.
Yeah, I heard about this before, that the pyramids, they were built in a very, very, very specific place that intersect with the energy lines of the earth.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is the Coral Castle, it is Stonehenge, and this is many other places around the world.
It's so geomancy. Geomancy, it's the earth grids, like lines. I think they're called ley lines. Ley lines.
But it's a scientific thing. It's not like a New Age kind of thing. So.
Yeah. So, don't allow. Ley lines are straight alignments drawn between various historic structures, prehistoric sites, and prominent landmarks. Gosh,
okay.
This is interesting because, like, when you search for, try to understand how the pyramids were built, a lot of people say, "Oh, they were done that way. Oh no, they're done that way. Oh, we have figured out. No, we have not figured out." To this day, is like.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
There's a mystery, and then historians say, "Oh no, the pyramids were where it was the sarcophagus of the pharaoh. That's where pharaohs. That's where they were buried." No, that's not true. They never found any sarcophagus inside of the pyramids. Actually, the way the pyramids were built don't even make sense. They say, like, some people say that it resembles more like a machine than a place where you...
Yeah, the pyramid is a huge planet of... I think it's also good for the tourism, because if it was already so mystery, it was going to go there. But yeah, in a way, it's beautiful to think that there is this theory that there were past civilizations that were very advanced, and then for some reason we did a reset, probably... Dinosaurs were able to do math to a high level, but they got destroyed, I don't know, by the meteorite. I think that is, if you think, and I was discussing this with somebody the other day, the Alexandria of Egypt library had a lot of knowledge, like the Vatican libraries have a lot of knowledge that is still powerful today and not shared with the world today for whatever reason. It is, nonetheless, it is interesting to know what, that there is this strange thing, if we want to talk about strange stuff the humans do and other aspect, what we can do with our brain. I'm sure that we are born with the possibility to evolve as humans.